Today we are with the legend, Eddie George. We're really excited to have you and just ask you a couple questions about how you got to Elite and eventually how you got to MPOWER as well. First thing I'm gonna ask you is what brought you to Elite and MPOWER initially?
My relationship with Dr. Elrod. I think he was still with the Titans at the time. He started this new practice and a rehab center that could get me back on track. And that's how I became, I guess, a client, if you will, of Elite, and one of the first people to come here and to get my rehab and so forth. The guy's doing an amazing job.
So what was your relationship like with Dr. Elrod as an athlete starting out?
He's been more of a close friend than anything else. And I can confide in Dr. Elrod and with anything. He's very concerned with my kids and what they're doing and vice versa. So he's watched me grow up over the years. So he's been more of a friend than actually my doctor or a guy that scopes my knees and wants to give me a knee replacement.
So how has the running back position changed since you were in the league?
I think it's changed in the fact that it's not the focal point of the offense anymore. You still have to have a running game, but down to just put the load and the responsibility on one guy is not there anymore. I came from the era where it was one guy got the bulk of the carries. It was Emmitt Smith, it was Walter Payton, it was Jerome Bettis, it was Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, Curtis Martin. I mean, the list goes on. And if you didn't have a bell horse running back, then you weren't competing for a championship back then.
What kind of advice would you give them as far as taking care of their body and their health?
Got to invest in your body. You've got to look for the best training, the best recovery methods. What you put into your body is what you're going to get out of it. But you have to find efficiency in terms of your workouts as you get older and maintaining your bones and your knees, your joints, and stretching. All those things, I think, can help an athlete with the longevity of their career. How
did Dr. Elrod kind of look after you and your best interests as an athlete?
Dr. Elrod, first and foremost, never pushed us to go back on the football field and play for the team's sake. It was about a quality of life afterwards, for the best interest of the person versus just the player.
In 2004, there was a playoff game in Baltimore where you dislocated your shoulder in the first half. You come back in the second half in a shoulder sling and you rush 88 yards to finish the game. And that puts the Titans in a field goal position to win the game and move on to the next round of the playoffs. Let's talk about what happened in the locker room, like at halftime. How were you feeling? What was kind of the experience with Dr. Elrod?
I could not leave that stadium, that game, leaving with this sting on my shoulder, and that was it. Upset, and Dr. Elrod calmed me down, and he popped it back in. He says, well, you can put a harness on it, but can you bear the pain of it? So I just kind of walked around, pacing back and forth, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because in that moment, if you say, I'm gonna shut it down, that's it. You know, once you see those words, that's it. You can't re-engage and try to go back out there and play. I said, let's strap this mother up and let's go.
According to Dr. Elrod, there was also a game where you said that your ankle was, quote, torn up forever.
Oh, no.
What actually happened to your ankle? Kind of walk us through that.
Well, it was my toe, actually, and I felt like I had no stability in my foot. And it was a game. I usually wear like cleats that are the soccer style cleats. They're molded bottoms. But this game, because it was wet and it was a lot of snow on the ground, I had to go with screw-in cleats. And I really couldn't feel my foot, stability in my foot. I'm like, damn, I said, this toe issue is a problem. And I didn't realize that my cleat was gone.
Yeah.
So that was the problem. I was like, oh, that makes me feel good. But I said, I am screwed. If I couldn't really feel my ankle. It was just unstable. So that was funny.
That's funny. He told me a couple of like his favorite memories, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
And the other one that he said was when you were a kid in Philly, you used to sell hot chocolate in the Eagles stadium.
Well, the old veterans to the old
Yes.
vet where they had the jailhouse and the judge system at the bottom of the stadium. And I would go sell hot chocolate there for an Army-Navy game and a couple playoff games for the Eagles. And it was one particular game against the Washington Redskins actually, and I was selling hot chocolate, and these guys asked me to come up to give them hot chocolate. And back then, Ghostbusters was the movie that was out, so we had these backpacks on with hot chocolate. We had the sleeves of cups on the side, and we pulled out our hot chocolate maker and made hot chocolate. It was really good. I was making some money, and it was this woman was sitting right here. The gentleman asked for hot chocolate. She had on this beautiful white mink coat. So I pull out do my deal, and I try to press it. Nothing's coming out. Nothing's coming out. So I shake it up, hit it, bang, and it splattered everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm kidding. I just had like maybe $40 in my pocket. And I'm thinking, this is gonna be an expensive bill. And I looked at him, he looked at me, I looked at him, and I ran down the stairs and never came back.
Well, let's just kind of talk about how many surgeries you've had with Dr. Elrod and how you've recovered from those surgeries.
I had my right shoulder done, my left shoulder done, left knee, right knee twice. Ankles, both ankles. I've always come out better. Sometimes I don't like what he has to say about my body and where it's going, but I know he has my best interest at heart, and he's like, hey, you know, you may need to think about getting X, Y, and Z in the future, but here are some alternatives that we can do to help ease the pain, and think about load management. Don't run as much. So I've been swimming a lot more lately and playing a lot of golf. And actually this knee has just been coming around beautifully since his recommendations in the surgery, so it's been good.
So we've kind of talked about how your relationship was with Dr. Elrod as an athlete. Can we talk about what your relationship is like with him today?
Dr. Elrod's my man. That's my dude, number one. And there isn't anything I wouldn't do for him. You know, that's the God honest truth. And the secondary part of that is that, you know, both me and my wife, she's been there's torn ACLs and all of that. Yep. He's done surgery on. Anybody that asks me about the best surgeon in town to do scopes and knees and anything, I tell them Dr. Elrod.
Now we're catching you at MPOWER, which is our sister company. So can you kind of tell us what you're doing here and how that transition was?
Again, MPOWER for me is I'm here to do rehab on my knee. I got my knee scoped in March. It's been a very slow process, but people up there are very knowledgeable. The expertise is perfect. I've been beating myself up because I'm not recovering as fast as I'd like to be, and they're saying, no, it's a slow process. They've been very patient with me, doing different exercises, building up my confidence, but also getting strength in my knee, and it's just been phenomenal.
So I can only imagine the toll, we've kind of been through it already, but the toll being a professional running back can take on your body. How is MPOWER helping you manage that?
They give me different exercises that I can do for my entire body, for my shoulders, different methods, dry needling, ice baths, ice massages, stretching, different things that I can do on my own to help prevent the pain that I'm having. And, you know, also a lifestyle change in your diet, you know, pulling out the sweets and like carbs, you know, helps your joints. It helps with lowering inflammation. So they do an exceptional job for the holistic approach versus just the body.
Do you feel like you've seen the progress you're looking for with Elite and MPOWER?
To feel better 1,000%. It's been phenomenal with both Elite and MPOWER, what they've been able to do and helping me get back to living a normal, better than normal quality of life. And it's been fantastic. Where I didn't think I was going to be, you know, 3 months ago, I'm well beyond that right now. So I'm very happy with the results.
Would you recommend Elite and MPOWER to other athletes?
Oh, I have. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it because I have, and I continue to do so for athletes that, even if they didn't have surgeries, I think for training, for different methods to build strength, stability, agility, to improve your overall game, I think Elite is the place to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Eddie, for coming and kind of informing everyone of your experience here and sharing your personal stories with Dr. Elrod.
Thank you for having me.
It's been awesome. So thank you so much.